Hello again. In this segment, I want to demonstrate the range of Web 2.0 features we include in our Connected.info product. The best way to do that is to explore how these features are used in a class section group to enhance learning. I'm currently signed in as a teacher, and I'll navigate to a class section group. As I mentioned previously, Connected.info is purpose-built for school communities. Thus, each course section in the student management system becomes a group in Connected.info with teachers and students as members. The first thing I'd like to draw your attention to is the structure of the group and the range of capabilities we include. Each group has an information section. Each information section here can be edited and modified by the owner of the group only, and in this case the teacher would be the owner of that group. Since course sections are a special type of group, they also include assignments. Each group has blogs, a bottomless virtual locker or document sharing capability, forums or discussion groups, and wikis. In addition, you'll note that this particular group, being a course section group, has students as members instead of just plain members. We get the roster, of course, of students from the student management system, and we maintain that for things like adds and drops and transfers into a class. We also include subgroups. Subgroups can be used by any group owner to segment the members of a particular group. In the case of a class section group, teachers could use that to assign students to individual project teams or to segment the curriculum for the purposes of enhancing the instruction for a particular group of students, such as the red group, blue group, which is generally used to indicate students who are reading above grade level or perhaps reading below grade level, as an example. We also have a calendar of events for every group, and we have photo sharing as well. I'd like to touch on a couple of features in particular during this demo segment. The first is the information section up at the top here. You'll note that we support the use of the textbook field, in this case the language of literature, as a link. By clicking on the link, the teacher can see any other classes in our system that are using that same textbook. He or she is then free to interact with teachers of those classes in order to explore ways to better leverage the textbook, better leverage a curriculum in a particular class. So this has actually been a very popular feature in the system since we've rolled it out. You'll note there's also some configuration sections about enabling blogs, enabling forums, disabling forums, those kinds of things. And also tags. Tags can be used in the same way that the textbook can be used in order to find other class sections or just other groups that have shared interest. In this particular case, this teacher has chosen to include Shakespeare as a link. This would indicate that she's planning on teaching something about Shakespeare in the course of this particular class section as it runs through. By doing this and putting it as a tag, other teachers who do the same thing, they can also find ways to interact with one another, even though, for example, they might be using a different textbook. Another example of the way that we leverage these features is the wiki. One of the things about a wiki that is worth noting is that it is a collaborative document that anyone in the group is generally allowed to edit. Now, there's built-in revision control so that if there's a need to revert to a particular version of the wiki, it is easily done. One example of how wikis can be used in a school context is the posting of class notes. So here we see that the teacher has posted class notes from March 9th on a lesson she gave regarding clauses. These notes in wiki form allow students to add their own thoughts and observations, for example, to the document, and then any student who happens to be absent during this class section can use this information to catch up, and actually then these wiki pages become a valuable study aid for things like tests and quizzes. So this is again an example of how wikis can be used productively in a class section. So this is our brief overview of some of the Web 2.0 features we include in a school context.